Just to dive in, Starlink has applied for the necessary telecommunications licenses with CRAN to operate here in Namibia. This includes now permissions to provide internet services and use radio spectrum. These licenses are critical because they ensure that any provider, foreign or local, is regulated, accountable, and operates in line with our laws and standards. So now, without them, a company can legally sell, install, or offer services to Namibians. So the key point here is now has to do with legality, customer protection, and level playing field for all internet providers, of course.
Now, Starlink argues that Namibia's slow and limited connectivity is restricting access to essential services. From your perspective, how serious is the digital gap in the country right now?
Oh man, the digital gap in Namibia is quite real. Many rural communities still lack reliable internet, and even urban areas experience slow speeds and unstable connections. When internet isn't reliable or affordable at the same time, it affects everything. Business, education, healthcare, access, and even basic communication. This isn't just inconvenience; it's a constraint on our economic potential. So now it comes with daily life impact, structural challenge, and it's not just bad service anymore.
Lauren Dreyer from SpaceX mentioned that Starlink can immediately introduce affordable broadband nationwide.
Yes.
How feasible is this promise and what would it mean for remote communities?
Well, I mean, technically, Starlink satellite network can deliver coverage quickly because it doesn't depend now on towers and fiber. For remote communities where there's little or no infrastructure at all, this could obviously now be transformational. The important point is of course now affordability. While the technology can reach these areas immediately once licensed, how affordable it will be depends now on pricing decisions here in Namibia. If priced thoroughly, it could obviously now give rural areas the connectivity they've long lacked. So now it's a thing of coverage versus cost. But now the real benefit for rural Namibia is quite impressive actually. If we are to get along with that.
Can I ask you, what are the requirements, or can you explain what local requirements a telecoms operator must fulfill before receiving approval?
All right. So now, when you get to have now these licenses, so you obviously need now a license for you to be able to operate in the country. You obviously now get to look at all these policies that are happening in the country as well, the rules that are currently followed by although also now other local internet providers. So the moment you have now these licenses, then you can obviously now be able to operate in the country. So you'll be able to sell and everything in between. So as much as Starlink operates through satellite, they still won't be able to operate in Namibia without getting those licenses. So there's still rules that have to be followed that now are obviously put in place by CRAN in Namibian perspective, of course.
Now, there's mention of discussions with local retailers and resellers. What role do local partnerships play in the rollout of satellite internet services?
Well, local partnerships are essential, of course. Namibian businesses can handle obviously now distribution, installation, customer support, and maintenance, of course. So that means now jobs, skills development, and opportunities for small ICT companies. It ensures that now the economic benefit stays in Namibia instead of now all the revenue going offshore, of course. So local partners make the technology accessible and sustainable, of course. So you have job creation, local ownership of service delivery, of course, in the country itself.
Now, critics sometimes express concerns about global satellite companies entering the African market. What safeguards or regulations exist to ensure fair competition and also protection of national interest?
Mm. Well, we already have safeguards through current regulatory framework. Any operator must follow rules on licensing, and as mentioned before, consumer protection. You have data security, and of course, fair competition. Just like the local companies, these safeguards prevent now exploitation, ensure that foreign companies don't operate outside the law. Of course, the key is to obviously now balance openness to innovation and protection of national interests. Of course. So you get to know that regulation is strength, right? It's not a barrier. We do need that balance as well.
Can you tell us how long does Crane take to evaluate and decide on these applications?
Well, I mean, Quinn doesn't necessarily have a fixed number of days, but realistically, it can take anywhere from 3 to 9 months, of course, sometimes longer. It depends on really the complexity and objections, of course, because now you have now obviously the application submissions where now, let's say for instance, Starlink submits now a formal license application, which I believe they have already done. And then we have now also the public consultation phase where Crown publishes the application and invites now public comments, which also they have done as well. And then after that, I believe that they do now technical and legal assessments whereby they review now the spectrum use, compliance with telecom laws, competition concerns, of course, ownership and control issues. You have now also national interest considerations, of course. So it's several now. Several of these stages can take for it, 3 to 9 months at least. But now you have now obviously the internal approvals and recommendations, of course. So there isn't really a set time period for them to go through the whole approval period.
Let's say if Starlink receives its licenses, what changes can consumers expect in terms of internet affordability, speed and also reliability?
Well, I mean, if Starlink enters the market, which I hope they do, consumers can expect improved speed and reliability, especially in areas where current networks struggle, of course. Competition typically pushes prices down or at least improves now value for money. For many users, this could translate into fewer dropped calls, faster downloads, and a more consistent connection, which translates obviously now into better access to online work, learning services and opportunities as well. So you have now quality plus competition benefits, of course.
And
Yes.
what impact could Starlink's entry have on existing telecom operators in Namibia? Do you think it's likely to disrupt the market?
Well, of course, it's most likely to disrupt the market, but in a positive way. Competition forces now these existing operators to upgrade infrastructure, improve customer experience. Operators can that also now rely on way competition, for instance, will feel pressure to change, right? So ultimately, this results now in better services for consumers and a more dynamic telecom sector overall. So protectionism really results in innovation, right? So it's the competition that actually brings in now this innovation. So disruption is as a positive pressure, of course, yes.
And looking ahead, do you think satellite based internet is the future for improving connectivity in Namibia? Or do you think it will complement traditional fiber and mobile networks?
Well, satellite internet is part of the future, right? But now the
Yeah.
entire, but not the entirety of it, of course. Fiber remains the backbone of high capacity urban connectivity. And mobile networks will continue to serve daily mobile users, of course. Satellite fills in where now those technologies can economically reach. You have the remote areas and backup connectivity. The strongest system is always hybrid one. So you have fiber, you have mobile, and you have satellite as well working together to now close the digital gap that we have in Namibia. So hybrid is the future, but it's not necessarily the replacement.
So are you saying, are we as a country truly ready to embrace satellite internet in Namibia?
From research and looking at what people are asking for, at the end of the day, the consumer should receive what they're asking for. So I do believe we are ready for it, right? We are ready for it, and we do deserve it as well. We are now heading into the fourth industrial area, so we have to have now the satellite internet coming in through, because now we have also now the digital world where most of our education system, clinical, everything is now going on the internet. So we have to now obviously get into it as well and make use of it.